What's up, everybody? Welcome. It's Orange Bloods Live. I'm Jeff Ketchum. That is Chad Hastings. Glad to be with you, talking a little Texas football. Do us a solid. Hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe to the channel. Get notifications. All those things are important. You never know when we might just go live because breaking news has occurred or, the latest video. You don't want to miss these things. Jump into the Specs chat. We'll tell you more about Specs as we go. Hello, Tracy. And jump into the comments section. We've got a lot of stuff. Brian Jones will join us in 30 minutes. Like he does every Thursday. You won't want to miss that.
Yeah. In fact, this week we'll talk about a game Texas fans really should be paying attention to. That CBS big time game, Oregon at Iowa. Oregon's a team you can't control if you're Texas, but if Iowa beats them, that really helps Texas out.
Well, I think one of the fun things about this weekend is that there will be a slate of games that, for varying degrees of reasons, will be interesting, I think, to Texas football fans. You and I have been talking about this a long time.
Yep.
This is the exact moment of the season where every game that's on television should almost feel like it has an implication, a little bit like when we get to the back end of a college basketball season and when teams are on the bubble and they're playing big games, it's kind of now or never. And, so I'm pumped up. But we talk about Arch Manning as the lead conversation today, and it's funny. This was a day where I think I'm literally in the middle of writing something that I think is one of my favorite things that I've written in real time as I'm writing it, and I think it may have finished third on the list of things that we eventually decided we could talk about. There is this continued recruiting discussion, which I think is really interesting. Texas loses a commitment overnight, and Dylan Barrymore Dylan Berryman. Thank you. I still want to call him
See, here's the other thing. When he decommits like this, you want to make sure you say it right because you know what they're going to do. They're going to say you're just being snarky and
I can't help it. I got Drew Barrymore on the brain for some reason. I can prove it. We did this yesterday. I promise you.
Yeah, and wrong with that.
And then there's some SEC officiating conversation, which I wrote about on Truth and Lies today on orangebloods.com. I think that's really interesting, and we will probably get to that.
I think we should a little bit, at least a little bit.
Because I don't know that we need to talk about Arch for 30 minutes before we get to Brian. So we have space to get to some of this. And this made it over to orangebloods.com earlier this week, and it was also one of the things that was in Truth or Lies today. Cooper Manning, Arch's dad, has a golf podcast called We Need a Fourth.
Okay.
And according to somebody who was listening to the podcast on Orange Bloods, he was doing a podcast with Kenny Mayne, Brian Bumgartner, who's Kevin from The Office.
Yep.
They're interviewing Eric Stone Street, who's Cam for Modern Family.
I bet that was a wild conversation.
I have to find the podcast now just to listen.
Wow. I mean, Cooper Manning is by far the most boring of those four, and he's interesting to me. So that's wild.
So according to Morge Horns on Orange Bloods, at that point, Eric Stone Street asked Cooper how much does Arch have left in college, and Cooper said 2 years at least. Kind of a benign deal.
Right.
Not the kind of thing that anybody should be running and going crazy, and it's a done deal.
Technicality, but any chance he's including the season we're in right now?
I'd have to listen to it. It could. I don't think Cooper was trying to make news, and it's not rocket science. Arch isn't going anywhere next year. He will be back in 2026. I think what's really interesting about this conversation, it's not a bad time to have it now, is that because it's bye week.
Yeah.
The Mannings are not trying to rush Arch anywhere.
Have they ever been a rushing family?
Ever.
And I don't mean rushing versus passing. I mean, They don't rush really on anything.
They do not. And they did not view Arch having to wait until his third season this year to get on the field as automatically a negative. There is an absolute belief. And it's funny because I heard this with Quinn Ewers when he came back in 2024, there's a stat that's out there amongst NFL people and agents that quarterbacks that put in 25 plus starts in college are significantly, and maybe I just need to do the homework and make this a story of all the things, get in line, right? But there's supposed to be a major statistical advantage of quarterbacks that come into the NFL that have started 25 plus games versus the Anthony Richardsons of the world who are super talented. They take advantage of when their stock is hottest, but they don't have quite that much experience built up in their development, and they just don't perform in the NFL as well as these other guys. It's a stat. Anyway, they subscribe to it. They believe he needs 2+ years worth of starts. And one of the things we talked about a year ago was that if you were Sark, you'd know that Arch was going to stay in 26 and 25 because he needs those 25 plus starts. They're not going to force him out before that. So one of the things about making him wait through 2024 is that most mortals would be like, well, look, I'm out of here after 25 no matter what. I'm ready to go get paid. I'm ready to do whatever. But Arch, it doesn't sound, if you told me right now, because I don't think Arch is ready for the NFL. Do you?
Oh, no, I don't. No. Not at this moment.
So there are levels that he needs to get to that he then needs to be consistent with before I think that Arch and his family will be like, time to go to the NFL. They're not going to rush it. He's not going to play 2 good games at the end of 2025 or 2026. And then they'll be like, all right, he finally hit the level. Time to go pro. That's not what they'll want. So there is a world where I can imagine Arch isn't all the way great next year, but he's very good. At which point they would say, you know what? Probably best to come back for 2027. It's not the craziest thing I've ever heard. It sounds, it's definitely not crazier than the notion that he became the first 5-star quarterback ever ranked in the top 5 in the rankings that waited more than a season and a half to get on the field as a starter.
Yeah. The only thing I wouldn't want for Sark and everyone involved, I would not want it to have a Quinn Ewers feel to it the wrong way.
The thing that's interesting about this is that if you look at not what the coaches and really the program says, and you look at what they do, the actions of the program would indicate that they expect Arch Manning to play through 2026. If he plays into 2027, I do think it potentially jumbles a couple of different things, because Diabell is going to be in the 2026 recruiting class. He knows Arch is coming back in 2026. The same way that KJ Lacey knew when he came aboard this year, hey man, Arch is the quarterback. I'm not playing as a true freshman. I'm not competing for a starting job. Like, that's just not going to happen. But if Arch were to play into 2027, you'd be asking Diabell to do the exact same thing that Arch Manning just did, of which in the last quarter century, there's only one example of any guy ever doing what just happened, and it's Arch. Arch is the example.
Yeah, first guy with his hand up will be Diabell if he's thinking about 27. Just at least with the question, right, of, hey, wait a second, what's happening?
Well, what we know is it's not impossible because Arch just showed us.
True.
But the most statistical likely event would be, A, that Diabell wouldn't stick around until year 3. No offense, but maybe lightning doesn't strike twice back to back. Maybe. But then you'd also be asking KJ Lacey in that scenario to wait until season 4.
Yeah.
That ain't happening.
I was going to say that's the one that's more than just a raising of the hand.
That one's just crazy talk.
No, that's a packing of a bag.
And I think everybody kind of gets that, right? Like,
yeah,
we've seen scenarios where guys have left early and you're like, whoa, why? Slow down.
That would make total sense.
Diabell is almost in that territory where I am not like, I get it. 3 years, long time. He can go play someplace and not sit and wait. But KJ Lacey's completely different. What's really interesting about this is in 2027 recruiting, which is if you thought that Arch was going to make it until 2027, realistically, if that was your plan, if that was what you thought was the most likely scenario to unfold, then 2027's quarterback recruiting would be the year that you would put all your eggs in your basket. Why? Because you would get a Diabell type prospect who comes in, waits a year, he redshirts a year, and then is ready to start next year. In the world of college football, it's next to impossible, unless you have Arch Manning, to find a scenario where guys come in, wait patiently for a year, and then don't play right away. Texas, we don't even know who the quarterback in the 2027 class is going to be. They haven't. It feels like it could be a Trey Owens type year where you just signed Diabell, or you're going to. It's kind of hard to then go out and get the next Diabell when Diabell just signed. So this is kind of the year where maybe you go get a developmental project. You go get a guy like Trey Owens was in that 2024 recruiting class. But you wouldn't do that if you thought Arch was definitely coming back in 2027. You wouldn't be able to afford to do it. It's too much risk. So while I think it's not crazy talk to talk about Arch coming back in 2027, everything the program is doing from the long-term future suggests that they're counting on Arch to leave after 2026. And if he were to come back in 2027, it could complicate a lot of things, honestly. Mm-hmm. And it'll be interesting to see how this thing goes. There are little tentacles to all of this. It's just not as simple as, well, and look, if you're a Texas football fan, look, Arch is your best offensive player right now. You'd love to see him hit the glow and be a Heisman candidate next year. But this team's probably a playoff team and enough in like maybe championship quality if he's just very good instead of good. If a Texas fan says, hey, as long as he doesn't get hurt and he doesn't go backwards and he just kind of keeps going forward, if there's a way to get him to come back for 2027, sign me up. Because there are worse things in life to have 2+ more years of the guy we're starting to see develop.
Yep.
It's just a lot of planning goes into a lot of this stuff. Yeah. And look, they got lucky with Arch. Quinn wanting to come back in 2024 was not part of the plan.
Right.
That it took a really unique situation for Arch to go, okay, cool. I know what you told me in recruiting. I know what you said was likely going to happen, but I watched it with my own eyes. He's not ready to go pro. I get it. I'm not transferring. I'll wait. I don't think Texas fans really appreciate how lucky they were. Like, Arch Manning isn't at give him a statue on campus yet, but when you consider the patience that he showed that nobody else in college football really ever shows, and you combine that with the beating that he's taken this year behind that offensive line, I'm not saying he deserves a statue, right?
No.
But some respect.
Hopefully you got that. Hopefully you got that with the Vanderbilt
Hopefully,
game.
like some of the I give up on Arch and I quit Arch and Arch isn't this and
yeah. I see the super chat there. We will get it. Let me give everybody some reminders here from some of our great partners. First reminder, get your Deep Eddy Espresso Vodka. It is out there. It is an exclusive to the tasting room, and it's limited time. When the bottles are gone, the bottles are gone. Get out to the tasting room. Also remember to circle on your calendar November 21st. We're going to be out there at the Deep Eddy Vodka tasting room for the live show at 12.
15 days, Chad.
Woo! Q&A till 3, and hopefully there's still some Deep Eddy Espresso for us to try when we go out there. Also remember to make your plans for next Saturday evening because this bad boy is going to be fired up with Texas and Georgia right in the middle. 6:30 kick. TCH Social Austin, 183 and Anderson Mill. Make your plans to come watch the game with us. And while you're waiting, Get on Hijack Poker. Go to hijackpoker.com. Play poker anywhere in the state of Texas. Get it on any device you want and start winning today. Get that $20 bonus when you sign up. And as I referenced, if you want to jump in with a super chat, you can. Here's a weird question to throw in. Brady 499, who is the last Texas quarterback to start every game of the season? Catch, our man Chris Bennett answered it in the chat. Do you know it before I put up his answer?
It was Sam in 2019.
Sam Ehlinger, 2019. Very good. Well done.
He was banged up in 2019, but he did make every start.
Yep. My guess was going to be Bobby Lane. Well done, Chris. I appreciate you throwing that in there. All right. If you guys want to throw in any super chats.
Going back further than that is tricky.
Yeah, no, it's true. Yeah. It's really weird. When the question popped up, I thought, okay, it can't go all the way back to Vince. There's no way it's all the way back that far. I was, glad to hear it's not that. But Catch, when I think of things like this Arch Manning discussion, I do think of guys like Vince. They pop into my head. I'm with you. If I was a Texas fan, oh my God, as much Arch Manning as I can get, you give me as much as I can get. Because deep down, if I was a Texas fan, I wanted one more year of Vince. If I'm an Aggie fan, I want one more year of Manziel. Like, as long as these dudes want to hang out, and I understand Arch has not performed at that level yet. I get it. He has not been Manziel, and he has not been Vince.
And look, you guys got 2 years of Manziel.
Yes.
There's a world out there where you get like 8 games. You know what I mean? Like Manning finds the glow in October of next year. And you don't, and then, it was like, the thing is, Texas fans were lucky with Vince. There is a world out there where in 2025, Vince might have just gone pro.
2005, you mean?
Or 2005 and not stayed. He had that moment against Michigan and
right.
Some guys would have just left. We've seen worse decisions get made. What it meant was that Texas got 2 seasons worth of magical moments that really make Vince Young a historical figure, right?
Yeah. But if you could get another one, you take it. I mean, you would, with all due respect.
I'm saying you almost can't be greedy with Vince because you got 2 out of him.
Right.
And that is a lot to ask for in the modern era.
Yeah. Not greedy, but with those 2 guys specifically, we have heard interviews with both Vince and Johnny since where they both go, yeah, probably should have gone back. Yeah, probably should have come back. And of course the fans are like, what are you doing? But, Vince in 2006, Johnny in 2014, like that's just
but
something.
The thing is, though, Arch in that situation, he could stay.
I know.
And I think we have all the proof we need.
Yeah, it would be so Manning. It would be such a Manning move. But here's the only thing it needs to be, Catch. It needs to be because everybody wants it, not because it has to happen. Again, it doesn't need to have a Quinn Ewers, why can't Sark develop a quarterback feel to it? That theme cannot exist if he's going to come back. What needs to exist is it was a playoff run. Maybe it was all the way to a championship game or whatever happens in 26. And you go, man, that talent coming back, let's re-rack it. And Art says, yeah, let me do one more year of Austin. The NFL will be there. Plus, look at that team who's picking first in the draft. I'm good. Let's roll. Like, that's what it needs to be.
After Kyler Murray had the big year in Oklahoma, and it's like, well, if your quarterback rating for the season's over 200.
Was he any good in college?
Then you can justify, what else can you do? I do think, and we can move on because I want to maybe talk about the officials a little bit, maybe even leading into Brian.
Yeah.
But, I think one of the questions that they'll have to answer, and look, it's completely different if he finds it this year, last couple of games of this season, then has a huge season next year. I think the writing's on the wall at that point.
Agreed.
The question is, if it doesn't happen at all this year, and they get to a point where next year where they're like, is 7 games of really good play enough? And I think the overwhelming majority of the people would say, well, it's 25 plus starts. The final 7 were badass. Some of the ones before that were badass. It's enough.
Yeah.
And I do think that this is a unique situation where there'll be a follow-up question of, is it though? And they'll mean it. It won't be for effect. It won't be for show. It will be, we think the best thing that could happen is maybe more, unless the answer is definitely not. And it is a unique situation. I don't think Ohio State will have this with Julian Sayin next year, right? Where it's like, well, he's a Sayin and they never get rushed.
Yeah.
Maybe, but like that dude didn't stay at Alabama for 5 minutes because.
Right. The Manning thing is it's so specific. Like it's just so specific in terms of the story. All right. We will get to a little SEC officiating discussion after we hear from Specs. Big, obviously one of our great partners. You see the rabbit every day. Thanksgiving's coming. You know that Uncle whoever and Aunt whoever are going to have to sit at the same table. You might need a drink.
When loved ones all gather for gourmet delight, Specs raises spirits all through the night. Thanksgiving is here to bring out the best. Wine pairing is caring and leaves guests impressed. Nothing's off limits, sweatpants or black tie. Just leave enough room for Specs pecan pie. Shop thousands of ways to upgrade your thankful. Specs lower prices keep wallets quite tranquil. So raise a glass and sing your praisings. When you stock up at Specs, it's cheers to savings.
Catch, every time I see that commercial, I'm going to think to myself, somebody turns to their family member and goes, hey, is Aunt Judy coming for Thanksgiving? Is Uncle Bill coming? Like there's that one person they're thinking of, like we're going to need to get hammered. If those two people are at the table together, we're going to need to be smashed.
So I'm just going to say the quiet part out loud. My daughter asked me last night what my favorite and least favorite holiday was.
Okay.
And I said, well, she said her least favorite was Thanksgiving.
Whoa.
And I was like, whoa. I was like,
easy now.
I go, Thanksgiving. I go, the thing is, Thanksgiving is dope if it's a fantastic meal. And I told her, I go, look, truth of the matter is sometimes where we go for Thanksgiving, the food's just not that good. And you know what she said?
What'd she say?
She was like, I didn't want to say it, but you're right.
Oh my
God.
God.
What I'm going to do, I told her, I was like, make a list of what you want. And I'll make sure that we have on Thanksgiving, like we may do a lunch or a dinner somewhere else, but we will before or after have a meal that will next year make you say, oh, you know what? Even my wife I was afraid she was going to hear this and jump my case.
She agrees. Okay. Well, here's the other thing. Just so I understand, your 11-year-old daughter, right? They're still 11, haven't turned 12 yet? Yeah. So your 11-year-old daughter, when she says holidays, is she just doing the big three? Or like is Arbor Day and Flag Day? Like, are they all?
We didn't get that deep into it because I was defending Thanksgiving as a holiday to her.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Before we get into officiating, our man Tom G has a question for you. $10. Thank you, Tom. Catch, Georgia game's going to need some extra enchilada help. Here's the best place in Houston, El Gallo, on Jones Road. Been there many times, and it's the best I have found.
I mean, look.
Catch, there is a reason why I think that could be a magical choice, and I think you know what it is. You know what it is.
Is it a rooster sound?
Yeah, it is. Shout out to Joe Ely. That's exactly why you should go to El Gallo.
All right. Well, look, so it is said, let it be written. I'll make it happen.
There it is. Thank you, Tom. Thank you, Tom, for the
somebody
suggestion.
save that for me because I don't have that, but I can remember El Gallo.
El Gallo, Jones Road in Houston. There you go.
I mean, look, it's written into the cards for the reasons that Chad outlined.
I like it. Okay. And if you haven't heard Gallo del Cielo, the great Joe Ely song, maybe the greatest Joe Ely song.
I was thinking about that Monday when I had a little bit of a family medical emergency and my mom and I were driving back and forth from Austin to the Woodlands. Yeah. We listened to Gallo del Cielo and I found myself wondering,
I know.
Is this it?
There's some great ones, but it might be just me personally, might be my favorite. And I love a few of them, but I'm not sure.
I know why someone would say like Me and Billy the Kid.
Yep. I love that one too.
But all these years later, it's a different class of music being made.
Yeah, it's a great song. It's a great freaking song. All right. Okay, Brian Jones coming up here in like 5 minutes. You want to get?
You and I did Joe Ely 30-second segment that was just for you and I. I'm like,
that was just for us. I'm sorry. Yes.
Yeah.
So before Brian Jones comes on, do you want to sneak in a little officiating?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
So I had this in Truth and Lies, but let's start with the truths from what I can gather. Right.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds like some people in Burnt Orange are pretty pissed about the officiating in the SEC.
Okay.
I've heard that Texas would have sent in reports from plays in the previous game, like pretty usual stuff.
Right.
Sark's never going to get into it.
Yeah, they got to send that PI. That missed PI was brutal.
I heard that there was a coaches meeting earlier in the week and that Sark voiced some frustrations, like a head coaches meeting.
Mm. Oh, okay. Like SEC head coaches.
I don't know.
Or,
I think it was school. I think this might have been a UT school meeting.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay, gotcha.
But I'll be honest, I didn't ask that as a follow-up question. I think I just read.
That would make more sense. Middle of a season, I can't imagine they have a meeting of those people.
And look, like, and ultimately, like, the vibe is a couple of things are really important here. The officiating they don't think is good enough. And B, they don't think this is Texas-centric. It's really important, right?
Okay.
This isn't, there's a conspiracy against us.
Okay.
And this keeps happening because there's an agenda against us. I've heard a bunch of different things about the officiating stuff in the last 4 or 5 days. Never once, other than like a fan who's like, they just hate us because we just came in. People that like I would listen to have never said that.
Yeah.
But there is a general consensus and concern that there is a problem. Now, where it gets really interesting is like, what's the root of the problem? And there are a wide array of theories that range from officials aren't paid enough and they're miserable bastards and they're not any good, at which point I'm a Premier League fan who literally thinks all of the officials are terrible. And then, anyway, I want to get into it, but if you were to just tell me, Jeff, they're just awful.
Yeah.
There's a part of me that would go, I get it. I watch sports all the time. I watch Big 12 sports. Like, officials can suck. There are some suggestions, though, some murmurs that I think are beyond the gutter levels of discussion. I think these are being said that there's potentially more sinister stuff at play there.
Oh, no. Not
and
that. That, like the
look, there has been inevitable that the Texas game last weekend went from a blowout to the final scores right on the spread.
Right. I went from an easy cover to a no cover.
And I'm not reporting any of that. I'm literally passing along what's being discussed.
Yeah.
They're rumors. They are things that are being mentioned by people. But that's a thing is really, I now through the rest of the season will be watching every SEC game really closely. I will admit, it's been pretty bad all year long.
Well, the other thing, when you said this to me earlier, we were talking about it. I think it was Mike Elko, I heard in the last week or so, reference the number of one-score games in the SEC. Apparently the number has spiked over the last year, couple years, whatever that number. I think it's up over 40 games this year, something like that.
Yeah.
And so just, what you were discussing with the Texas coaches or with Sark and the coaches, it's like, if they're not just talking about them and they're seeing a pattern, that's what's wild to me. And we've
think
watched
about all of the SEC games this year that we've watched.
Oh, yeah.
Where we've said there were some big plays and big moments in these games that.
Right. Big moments, big calls, big issues of am I doing that or that? And just
reversals of touchdowns and like,
yeah.
And look, coaches have gotten fired off of some of the results that have contributed to these games.
Yeah. What Hugh Freeze had to eat in Norman. Like, let's go to that game, right? Of all the games we watched, that might be the one you go, wait a second. Remember that? Remember some of the stuff that happened in Oklahoma's favor in that game? Oh,
I mean, it directly impacted the outcome of the game.
it was ugly. And for Texas Vandy, there's two moments for me: the missed PI, and then you can tell me, did you ever see a replay of the 2-point conversion where you at least understood what the guy might have seen? No. Because I don't know that I did either.
I didn't make a big deal out of it because I think it sounds a certain kind of way.
I know it does. I certainly know that they're going to embed cameras in the pylons. And I didn't see one shot that gave it to me for sure. I saw one shot where I go, all right, maybe like the laces cross the very front of the line. And he's there live. And it's his job to stare at that line. And if he wants to tell me, Chad, the ball crossed the line. To my eyes, that ball crossed the line. I called it that way, and they couldn't find anything on the other side. What do you want me to do? Okay, but that's one I'd love to get an explanation from the SEC on. How do they? I don't
have like a specific what's the moral of the story, right? Like, we're not leading Sports Center with
right.
What I'm saying is we're acknowledging there's some conversations taking place behind the scenes. And quite honestly, I've heard the conversations before where it's like something's against Texas.
Mm-hmm.
Remember when Charlie Strong had the game against Oklahoma State?
Yep. That's exactly what I was just thinking of.
But even then I'm squeamish a little bit to go, the crew had it in for Charlie, like remember the Titans or in Hoosiers. It's like that. But if you go back and look at that, even today, it is still as sketchy today as it would have been then.
Yeah, it's a game that I've always said you just can't talk about that game without talking about officials. You're not being fair to what the game was if you don't mention officials.
And we get Brian on. Look,
Vandy, same way.
It's like a running joke for 30 years that at the end of Grant Taft's era at Baylor, that he got hooked up in basically every farewell game he had.
Right.
I mean, it was so legendary, right? So it's not that like something bad happened in a game with officiating. It's that there's conspiracy theories about the quality of officiating, and it's not actually related to a team. It's a little bit like something's going on in the conference. The officiating is not good enough. Look at the totality of the games that have been played. And it's not specific to anything Mike Elko is saying. It's not specific to a Texas fan who feels like a call didn't go their way. It speaks to, like, all season long, the officiating has been, quite frankly, poor enough that we're now at a point where these types of things are being whispered about. And I think the SEC, when this season is over with, is going to have to do something to make it look like they're addressing what has become a problem.
Yeah, we'll start right there with Brian. Brian Jones of CBS Sports is ready to go. Let's remind you, if you want the gear, go to University Co-op on the Drag or just search Real Snow Milk on University.
Is it really fair to draw him into this conversation? He doesn't know what we're talking about.
What are you talking? Yeah,
I feel like Brian could get into trouble talking about this.
Trouble? What do you mean? Trouble?
Brian, what do you think about the notion that the SEC officials might be like involved in a gambling ring? Go.
No, see, you know what? See, you were going to go with the crudest version. The way to get Brian in is
that's the way to protect Brian, is to let him know the craziest thing possible from the very beginning. Stay away from that. That's what I did. I hooked Brian up.
Yeah, there you go, Brian. It's not that. Here's my question. We talk to you about Texas games all the time. Talk to us about Texas Vandy in terms of officiating. Do you have, when you're talking about that game, was the officiating so weird that it's part of the conversation for you?
First of all, when Greg Sankey's here, I don't be talking. When he leave, I be talking again. Okay.
Well done, Mr. Jones.
I still have an email I have yet to open from about 5-6 years ago where I got on his bad side and my CBS boss called and said, "You're going to get an email. Don't read it." Luckily, I was on my way to a yoga class. So I said, all right, I won't read it. And I still haven't read it. I need to go back and find that email and actually read it.
That's
apparently it was scathing, but the head of CBS Sports at the time had my back, so I was good. These officials stink like a big old pile of excrement. In those calls Saturday. First, the two play conversion, the dude wasn't in. The ball was not in. And then the Emmett Mosley, the fifth, the touchdown, it wasn't a touchdown. He didn't catch, but hell, he was held the whole way into the end zone. There was clearly a PI. They don't call that. So these officials, I've been saying, Aaron Taylor was praising him one Tuesday on our show. It's like, man, you must be crazy. Damn officials. And then, you know what the fallback is? And AT used it as well. Well, they're human. Well, who the fuck is it? We all human.
Yeah.
The players are human.
That's the worrying part. They're human.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Get some younger ones that can actually keep up with the action instead of these old decrepit dudes wearing the pins. Now, I respect them. It's difficult. I get it. It's difficult to play as well. It's difficult to stop that 300-pound man who's trying to pound my brains into the turf. So we're all human. We're all invested. And I'm charged with doing my best. How about you employ some guys that do their best? Now, to their credit, they did sideline that one crew. I believe it's from the Auburn game.
Yeah.
So they're out indefinitely. We need more of that. They need to be held accountable just as the players and coaches need to be held accountable.
Yeah, I can see real quick, Catch. I can see like a spoof Key and Peele kind of deal. Mr. Official, was he in or out? Depends. And then there's an ad for – I'm sorry.
Two pumps or 3 pumps? I didn't get my man the other day for 2 pumps, man. Come on.
Brian, as far as I was asked a question over the weekend, actually today on Bill King's show in Nashville. And he said, seems like Texas is playing their best football of the season right now. And I was like, wait, what? I was like, well, they played 3/4 of a game really, really well against Vanderbilt. But like 4 quarters of really good football we haven't seen yet. Is that how you see it? Or is Texas playing their best football of the season right now?
They started that game out playing their best football. They played both sides were complimentary at the start and for the majority of the game. Yeah, the best football offensively. Arch mean mugging the camera coming out at first, showing he was okay. And then the first play, which is similar to the first play versus Mississippi State, they take it to the house. Defense, getting turnovers. Colin Simmons playing like the Colin Simmons we expected at the beginning of the season. He's turned it up a notch. They caged Pavia. It wasn't until later in the ball game where they got nosy. And I said this last week, don't get nosy. If you got to set the edge, set the damn edge. Don't stick your head inside. They stick your head inside. Next thing you know, he's around the corner for a nice long touchdown run. And even the call on that play, they called the personal foul on our guy when he tossed the ball.
No. Different guy, Brian. No, the Pavia tossed the ball at a Texas player who stayed calm. They called it on Muhammad, who got into an altercation with a different player, and then he hit him in the helmet.
Oh, okay. I stand corrected. Muhammad deserved that then. I got to teach Muhammad how to do that without the ref seeing him.
Right. Phil Simi was good there. Phil Simi didn't do a thing. Phil Simi didn't get that flag. Yeah.
All right, because I've gotten I've done a few of those without getting penalties. The other guy, the 17, he got one, didn't he? In the back, he carried him a little further than he should have, but still, he put his arms out to show that he was innocent.
Brian, have you ever seen a quarterback do that in your life? Have you ever seen a quarterback pull a guy down like that?
Savvy. That's Pavia, man. He's savvy as hell.
What's the call on the field if the ref wants to call that? That reminded me of John Stockton, 15 yards. Like, what do you do?
He fish hooked him. That's some old school.
They should call it on Pavia, similar to they call it on those D linemen when they grab the offensive lineman to keep him from pulling to keep them off their buddy, man. But it was an excellent game. The guy out of the gate's great. I was the only one on our show last Tuesday to pick Texas. And so they were upset with Manny. It was hilarious just sitting there watching it. It's always fun how our allegiance flows from week to week. But it wasn't until the damn secondary got decimated. I'm sitting here watching the game film Sunday, and I had to pull out the roster. Like, who is this guy? Who is that guy? Hey, where'd this dude come from? And then they couldn't spell Texas after that happened. I mean, they were busting coverages and running into each other, and it was just a shit show once you lose, DBs and you can't get to the quarterback. And now Muhammad, he's at fault again. They have a 4th and I think 10, and he's trying to do too much. Do your job. He runs inside to help that inside route, and it leaves his guy wide open, and he's able to continue to drive. The game's over at that point if he just stays and does his job.
19, Brian. 4th and 19.
Which is 4th and 19? Oh, 19. Damn.
Coming out of the end zone. Talking about the play coming out of the end zone. The pass.
Out of it. Yes. 19. Damn, Muhammad.
Was it 4th or was it 3rd?
That was 4th. I think it was 4th down, dude. They get off the field right then. The ball game's over.
That was like 3 weeks ago. I don't remember, but
I think it was. You're right. It was something. It was something in 19. It might have been 3rd and 19.
I know the 19 part is right, Chad.
The 19 was right. Yes.
Well, Muhammad, God knows he goes inside. His guys out on the perimeter, catches it, and they continue the drive. So defense falls apart. They're at the end. Offensively, they didn't score anything in the 4th quarter, did they? Other than a field goal, maybe. I think that's all. Yeah.
Nothing. Yeah, nothing.
Yeah. So I guess they ran out of gas. Hopefully those receivers are healthy. Is Wingo with his thumb, and then the McCutcheon kid went out also after catching passes. But yeah, it was great until it wasn't great. It was great until it got a little too close for comfort.
Yeah. And by the way, I just checked. It was 4th and 19. 4th and 19. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. So yeah, there you go.
Chad, don't forget too much, Cats. Now
I know, man. I dated a girl like that once. Like, she remembered everything. It'd been years later, and she would remember. I'd be like, how do you remember that? Jesus.
I had one come up to me, actually hit me on the messenger out of the blue, and you messed up my life. Like, oh, you motherfucker, I'll mess up your life.
Then she hit you with some details, and you were like, "Oh, damn."
To be fair, I've never texted Brian and said he ruined my life ever. I've never done that. Not one time.
Damn, you might be right. I did do that, didn't I?
That's what I'm saying.
Oh my God. Obviously, Brian, we'll have a lot of time next week to hit a little Texas, Georgia. I want to talk about the game y'all are going to see this week. The CBS big time matchup is Oregon at Iowa. This is a game where the Longhorns could really use some help from the Hawkeyes. There's multiple teams that could use an Oregon loss. So I hear a rumor that Iowa's playing offense. What do you think we're going to see in this game?
They are. This Gronowski kid, who knew he was a dual threat? That's how he's been getting it done, primarily is with his wheels and, of course, their running game. It's going to be physical, man. It's going to be one of them snot bubble games. I love it. You break down the film, especially watching Iowa. It's old school football. They're getting an eye and offset eye, and they're running powers, and they're running the zone game and all that. But they just want to punch you in the mouth. Defensively, the same. They got a nice defensive rotation. The safety, Lutmer, number 6, is badass. So they swarm you. Phil Parker's, he doesn't get enough credit, I don't think. He's one of the best defensive coordinators in all of college football, and he's been doing it for a long, long time. And his teams, I think they're on, this is the 12th season where they're allowing less than 20 points or some crazy stat like that. Oregon, of course, we saw them in person versus Indiana. They got pushed around, only 41 yards there in the second half versus that Oregon defense. And versus Wisconsin 2 weeks ago, prior to their bye, they didn't do anything in the first half. Wisconsin was really taking it to them. That Oregon offensive line was leaky. Now in the second half, they played better, still won 21-7. But they are going to have to come out of the gates and play well versus this Iowa team, especially being on the road. It's going to be loud. Now, Dante Moore's back. He left the Wisconsin game bloody nose. Well, these Iowa Hawkeyes get a hold to him. He's going to have more than his nose bloodied, man, because they bring the funk. They hit, dude. You have to love watching these guys fly around. And so I'm actually taking Iowa in this game. I think Iowa can win. And both teams usually play clean football in terms of turnovers and penalties. They don't hurt themselves. But if Iowa can find any type of offense or force some turnovers, I think Iowa's defense and their special teams as they often do, are going to have to play a huge role in this ball game. But of course, you'd think Oregon have the speed component, and they'd have the advantage there. But this is going to be a hell of a game. I am so looking forward to this ball game. This is going to be fun, and we're in that time of season now. As you said when you posed the question, they can help Texas or help this team. Of course, help themselves. Because they can both control their own destiny, sitting there with just one loss in conference. And lastly, Iowa played Indiana the closest. It was 20-15 victory for Indiana in there, and so they handled them for the most part, especially on third down. I think Indy was 0 for 3 on third down. So get out of the gate quick if you're Oregon, which they can do with their speed. But I'm going to take the Hawkeyes at home, man. And here's the last stat I'll say. Coach Ferentz, Kirk Ferentz, is 5-1 at home in November versus top 10 teams.
Oh, good number.
5-1.
I think you're
That's
crazy,
some Chad
Brian.
shit right there, boy. I went out
the sword.
Huh?
I think you're crazy, but if you're right, next week I am going to shower you with flowers. Because just the idea of Iowa beating Oregon, I hear what you were saying, and yet my brain is like, no.
We didn't think they could beat Indiana, and Indiana had to score a late touchdown on a busted coverage, and they lost 20-15.
It's fair.
So that's going to be crazy there at Kinnick. They've got some. Iowa quietly has great. They've always had great defenders, man, and they've been one of the tops as far as pick six each and every year. So they've got the playmakers. What they don't have is on the offensive side, those speed burners. And we were looking this up yesterday on our weekly CBS call. Who's the last Iowa receiver in the NFL? Good luck.
Wow.
Maybe remember was it the Charlie Jones or Dwight Jones? Remember him? White receiver, played for the Chargers.
I was thinking about a white guy, yeah.
Yeah. And then they had the cat. It was a white guy. He's right. Then they had the cat that transferred to Purdue a couple years ago. And I think he had 6 catches when he was at Iowa. Goes to Purdue and he had like 100 or something.
That was like the Charlie Davies kid, I think.
Charlie
right?
something, yeah.
Yeah. No, I know who you're talking about.
So that's the only thing missing from that offense. And this kid Gronowski, and now Iowa's considered the school where quarterbacks go to die because they can't muster up a passing offense. But this dude had thrown for like thousands of yards at his previous stop, North Dakota or South Dakota State, one of those. So that's what's missing. And also what's missing, they don't have that signature tight end as we've seen in the past, the Hawkinson.
Are you sure they have to have somebody buried someplace?
Those guys I know in the NFL.
George Kittle. Remember Dallas Clark back in the day?
Hell yeah.
Noah Fant.
Fant's still in the league, right? Yeah.
Yeah. They had all those guys. So, but I might be crazy. I'm gonna stay and die on that Iowa hill, man. I think they're gonna give them a hell of a game.
I like it. I hope you're right.
No guts, no glory. I'm curious. I actually had 2 questions, but this one popped up while you were giving that last answer, really talking about Iowa. I'm sure you've been asked this question a few times, but maybe only now that you've had a few months to look at it, you have enough of a perspective. Is there really a big difference in the SEC and the Big Ten? When you watch these games, does it look like, oh, this is a more physical league or this is a faster league? Or because the SEC likes to say we got most of the draft picks, most of the NFL players, but the Big Ten might win its 3rd national championship in a row this year. Like that could happen. And at some point you got to shrug your shoulders and go, well, the Big Ten's kind of running things right now. So what are your eyeballs seeing, considering your perspective?
They're comparable. That's what my eyeballs are seeing now. From tip to toe, power, speed, and all that. You got to go with Ohio State at the top, man, and what they're doing. In Indiana, the same with their receivers, Sarad, Omar Cooper Jr., the running game. They're complete football teams. So those two, I'd say top heavy. We thought Penn State would be in that number. Oregon's usually in that number as well, and they sitting there with just the one loss, the thumping they took from Indiana at home. So those three, yeah, on any given Saturday, I would say could play in the SEC. And the Iowa and what they're doing currently, yeah, I'd put them in that mix. So I think they're very comparable. They're more comparable now today in this environment than they were in seasons past, where you just have maybe one or two teams. Now you have multiple teams. I think that would be interchangeable.
Interesting.
Hopefully that answers your question.
No, for sure.
Catch, you want to throw another one in here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't thought. And BJ, this is a good one. Are there any teams in college football right now? Because ultimately the question,
let me lean in for this good one. Go ahead.
Ultimately, the national champion has to win 3 straight games, right? Like that is the task now.
Yeah.
Who have you seen so far this season, just across the sport, that you look at and go, they can win 3 games? And then I guess the question is, are any of those teams good enough to win 4 games? Because Ohio State was, but I'm curious, like who? I don't know. I don't know who
Indiana.
Really?
To me, Indiana reminds me of those old Alabama teams, man.
Really?
Because you just got a whole host of guys that come in and they shine and they play well together as a team. Now, I would say Ohio State, but I just haven't. Saying is great. I mean, the dude's hitting week in and week out 80% of his passes. Yeah. They've got a great defense. Last week was the most points that they've allowed the last time out, I believe it was. But this guy is great, but I haven't just seen him under a ton of pressure since the Texas game. That was the last game, and they brought him along beautifully. Where it's great to have the luxury of a Jeremiah Smith, a Carnell Tate, clear at tight end, where I don't have to do much, and he's learned that very well, not forcing things. But I haven't really seen him under fire consistently to gauge how he would handle those situations. But so Indiana, I think, can handle that 3-game trek, man, with the number of players they play, the quarterback play. And Fernando now is showcasing his athletic ability. It's not just about the arm. So I would go Indiana. Alabama has played well and continues to play well. South Carolina let one get away again versus them as they did a year ago. Anxious to see how they play going up against this new look LSU football team led by Frank Wilson. But Indiana would be my pick. I think they could win 3. Yeah.
Interesting. All right, Brian, last one from me, and it's a Twilight Zone question because Texas A&M, and Texas Tech are all in the top 15, and the only 2 ranked matchups of the week involve the Red Raiders and the Aggies. So you tell me, if I say Red Raiders and Aggies win, do you agree?
Yes. Yeah, I agree with that. Dude, I was racking my brain, and I think it has to be unfortunately the Crabtree game. But the last time you had a game of this magnitude in Lubbock, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Undefeated. And I was just breaking down some of Bachmeier's film. That dude got cankles, man. Big ass quarterback at 47. Number 47. Wow.
Only Brian Jones. Everybody else is talking about the number 47. Brian's looking at the man's ankles.
He's earned that.
Dad Cankles.
He's earned that name, Bear. Oh my goodness. Bear Bachmeier has some cankles on him. It is amazing. And when he throws, it's like he's trying to go with the ball. I want to go with you. Don't leave me, ball. Take me with you. I mean, he jumps into it. It's like, what are you doing? But it gets there. He's got some good receivers, this Chase Roberts and this Parker Kingston. Damn good. We'll see if LJ Martin, who was leading the Big 12 in rushing, returns this week. I just think they're going to be – I think Texas Tech's going to have too much for them. That defense, old boy had his game, had some touchdown runs, one long one, Avery Johnson last week from K-State.
Yeah.
But what it ended up being 43-20 was the final score, something like that. That defense scores
it was like a
5.
It was a 9-point game, and then they stretched it out. Yeah.
Yeah, 5 turnovers they forced in that ball game. 5 turnovers. I think it was 3 fumbles and 2 interceptions. So Tech should win that at home. But playing those grown men, it's going to be rough. Oh, man. Hold on. Exterminator. Hold on.
Uh-oh, the exterminator.
Exterminator.
All right.
Who
Well,
is it?
I thought that's Greg Sankey. Run!
oh my God, we'll take Brian off the
Run!
screen
Brian is Greg Sankey. He heard you didn't read his email and he's at your door.
just in case Brian
How
starts
he rolls.
to swear a little bit. While Brian's doing that, let me tell you about AV Consultations. Whether the exterminator's coming or not, AV Consultations, make sure you got the setup you want. 255-8678. You'll watch at home this week, Texas fans. Look at your setup. What do you need? Get it for the holidays. Get it for the family for Christmas. Bigger screens, better screens, multiple screens, and make sure it's all set up perfectly. 255-8678 or go to avconsultations.com and start looking at the pictures and projects that they've done. Remember, go to Pluckers or Cover 3. If those are your places, they set those places up so you can get a lot of ideas that way too. AV Consultations, tell them you heard about it here on Orange Bloods Live. All right, I think Brian and the Exterminator are done. Brian, are we good?
Do I get a discount from AV if I tell them I heard about them from you?
Heck yeah, you do. Of course you do. Plus, you're Brian Jones, so you might help you out.
Anyway, put a button on Texas Tech. Biggest game since I believe the Crabtree ball game, and which I tried to eject from my memory. But
you didn't need to mention that out loud.
Yeah.
But anyway, Cankles is going to be tough, and quarterback Cankles. But this Jacoby Williams, this running game for Tech, Cameron Dickey, third in the league, and then this Jacoby Williams the last couple of weeks had a touchdown run via kickoff, and then last week went for 135. They play excellent football. Jacob Rodriguez, All-American linebacker, he's had one heck of a year, forcing fumbles. He's all over the place. Their secondary plays well. Give me the Red Raiders. Your Aggies, this will be the best defensive front they have faced all season. These guys can hunt up front for Missouri, and they held Pavia pretty much in check. You had that one long run we discussed last week leading into the Texas Vandy game by Alexander, just a guy missing his gap. They're coming off a bye week. So I think it's going to be a hell of a game. Marcel Reed's going to probably have to use his wheels, man. Get away from this pressure from
not probably. Team. Le'Veon Moss is out for sure. They listed him as out last night. Also, Scooby Williams on the defensive side is out.
Oh, that doesn't help. But that Owens kid, isn't it? Owens, that's been
Ruben Owens.
Ruben Owens. He's played well. Concepcion has played well. So it's going to be Reed's going to have to do his thing. Now the Zollers, the backup quarterback for Missouri, came in when Pabula went down. He didn't look out of sorts. Now he's had a week of practice under his belt, 2 weeks with the off week, and we'll see what happens. And he's playing at home, so that's going to help. I just think the Aggie defense, Scooby Williams and no Scooby Williams, they are so tough. If they can continue to do what these previous two teams, Auburn and Vandy, did to Missouri, is shut down Ahmad Hardy, they should be all right. If they get him going again, it could be a long afternoon for them.
Yeah. That's gonna be a tough game up there, man. Kev, you got anything else for Brian?
No, I'm good.
Brian, we always appreciate it. Let me throw up your beautiful pictures one more time. Go to the co-op, get this great gear, or just search Real Snow Milk on universitycoop.com. You are not guaranteed to look as good as Brian Jones in the clothing, but you could try. Brian, always a pleasure. Enjoy Oregon and Iowa. See if you can get those Hawkeyes a victory.
I'm going to be pulling even harder now since Catch has called me a fool for.
He's going to see some cankles in Iowa.
Yeah, there's some cankles there. Hey,
you guys aren't there live, are you?
No. I wish, because one of my best recruiting trips was actually there in Iowa City. Ooh. It was great.
We'll circle back on that, Chad.
Yeah, I was going to say, look at the gleam in his eye. Look at the gleam in his eye. Brian says, don't talk bad about Big Ten country. Don't talk bad. There's something going on in Big Ten country. Fair enough.
Going on in Iowa City, baby.
There you go. Brian, you take care. Have a good weekend.
Welcome.
There it is. Brian Jones, ladies and gentlemen.
Sounds like Brian went cow tipping.
I don't know what sounds like something. Some slump busting in Iowa City or something. I don't know what the heck is going on. Oh, that's funny. A wild number catch on both the Aggies and Red Raiders. A&M number 1 in the country in third down defense. Texas Tech number 1 in the country in rush defense.
Okay.
Did you realize that?
Yeah, because you said it earlier this week.
I can't say it enough. It's got me freaked out. I'm 50 years old. I'm not used to seeing Tech tackle, much less be the number 1 rush defense in America. That's going to be something to watch, man.
Yeah, it'll mean something to me at the end of the year.
Yeah, it might. But I will say this about McGuire and Tech, man. It is different out there, and that's a legit football team. Like, I don't know how, but that's a real team now, both sides of the ball, in a way that they haven't been in a long time. So I'm interested to see what they can do against BYU. All right, before we head towards the exit, let me show you a little Taste on Main. The outdoor seating areas are one of the great parts of Taste on Main. It is a wonderful steakhouse, great casual environment in Buda. Free parking is not far from where you're seeing these pictures, but now you got the weather turning a little bit, the beautiful November evenings and afternoons. And yes, as you can see, they've got fans or heaters if you need it. But with this great weather, the way it's turning, you get on over there, you have yourself a great meal. That outdoor treehouse bar area is always cool. Tell Travis, Tamara, and the crew that we sent you over there, that you heard about it on OB Live. Remember, these are the same people that bring you Hayes City Store. So you're going to get the absolute best in food, beverage, and just a great time. Check them out. Taste on Main, downtown Buda. Might be an idea on your off week. Just hit a little Taste on Main. Couldn't hurt. Catch, anything else we need to hit today?
No, we're good.
We'll be back tomorrow for a Friday show. Little Scottish guy for the bye week for Texas. Catch, will enchiladas be done today or tomorrow?
I had enchiladas last night, and I did it like I volunteered. Like, you know what?
Like you thought of enchiladas.
I was, you know what? I'm going to have this place's enchiladas.
Okay.
Instead of this place's fajitas.
Okay. And you have taken the picture and we'll show it tomorrow?
No, because it was from a place I'd been to before. So I didn't take a picture.
Oh, okay. So there will be no picture of enchiladas this week, but you did eat them this week.
I mean, I had enchiladas last night.
Fair enough. What, did you go chicken again or beef?
I did. I
went chicken. I think you're sizing up to be a chicken enchilada man. That's where you're going.
Like, they do them separate. I should have got like 1 beef or 2 beef and 1 chicken.
Oh yeah, they can do that for you. You just got to get a mess up.
What I haven't had are just cheese. I don't understand. People keep telling me that I just need to get the cheese, and it's like, why would I not? Why can't I? What isn't the cheese enchilada the same thing with just some protein mixed in? Like, why wouldn't I? Like, it'd be like somebody saying, why'd you get a cheeseburger? You could have just got a grilled cheese.
Yeah, I look at cheese enchiladas the way I look at cheese pizza. A lot of people really enjoy it. I personally would like a protein added. So I'm all about the protein in an enchilada. The only way I'll do a cheese enchilada is if I have 2 other enchiladas sitting next to it that have protein. I'll do that. I'll do beef, chicken, and cheese, but I'm not doing like 3 cheese enchiladas.
I mean, there's just not a grilled cheese on the planet that's not better with some meat put in the middle of it.
I'm totally with you. Totally with you on that.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, I'm an enchilada guy, but I cannot remember the last time I had a cheese enchilada. Like just by itself.
I mean, if you tell me that a place that makes the best cheese enchiladas on the planet, I still think it's got to taste better if it's got some chicken in it.
Exactly. Catch, one of my favorite enchiladas ever was at a place called Cura's in Austin, down there on, was it Runberg or where? I can't remember where it was. No, it's the other side of town. Anyway, it was a great enchilada. It was like white cheese enchiladas, but you know what was on top of the enchiladas? Meat. And that's why I loved them, because they added that beef on top and it was great. So yeah.
Okay, I'm just seeking clarity.
Sandman is with you, by the way. Sandman, cheese enchiladas, boring AF. You could just think of more, right? You could just think of more. It's a base thing. That's the way I feel about cheese pizza too. I don't need any cheese pizza. I need stuff on my pizza. By the way,
a piece of cheese pizza and a piece of pepperoni pizza, just as like an example.
Yeah, I'm grabbing the pepperoni every time.
Every time. It's not even a decision.
And I know people that are cheese pizza snobs, and I try to eat with them a lot because we can each have our own pizza because I don't want theirs.
When you order 2 pizzas, it's always good to hang out with somebody.
Oh yeah.
Not eat your portion of the pizza.
Yep. They don't want my meat lovers pizza, and I don't want their cheese pizza. That's what we agree on. And we also agreed that Texas UT throwing $5 at us is just a good thing. Just a hashtag hook 'em on a bye week. Thank you, Texas_UT. There's all kinds of Longhorn stuff in that name. Was it Runberg? I can't remember what it is. Can't remember. No, it's not Runberg. It's like maybe it's Old Torf. I think it was on Old Torf.
Well, Runberg and Old Torf are on the other sides of town from each other.
Exactly. I said Runberg first. I think it's Old Torf. I think it is the other side of town. Old Torf's the one that's more like south side of town, right? That's where I think it's on Old Torf is Curras. Curras. Y'all double check me on Curras. And I hope
we
it's
can
still
do
there.
that off air.
Yeah, I hope it's still there, but it may have closed
We're talking.
Everything in Austin I love closes. That's another show. All
You're
right,
babbling. You're just babbling now.
we'll be back tomorrow. What do you mean now? There's no now. I've been babbling for 27 plus years.
Who am I to call anybody a babbler, by the way? We are the old Muppet guys. Are you babbler?
I was gonna say. Earlier in the week, I had this thought of like, hey, catching on the show on the Modcast, we'll have a nice short show. Or no, the one you missed with me and Jason. And I thought this will be a nice short. It was like an hour 15. I don't know who babbles more, me or you. It's a contest. So thank y'all for showing up for the babbling. We'll babble tomorrow on a Friday. Orange Blood's live. Babble, babble, babble.